TicWatch Pro 5 Enduro was released in May, and we've been using it for the last couple of months. But the question is, should you upgrade? And well, actually, that's quite complicated. This video is brought to you by that CUKTECH 20 power bank, and we'll talk about that a little later on. The TicWatch Pro 5 Enduro offers some key refinements this time round, so let's start by having a look at its design. This is something we actually really like. The 48mm watch case is a little bit thinner than the last TicWatch, and it has those raised bezels for better protection, and it has a new textured band, which I actually found to be really comfortable and fit really nicely on the wrist. The watch band has this ridged underside to it, which comes in really handy when doing long workouts, because it means that the underneath of your wrist just doesn't get as sweaty as other watch bands, and it's pretty sleek. I like this. That 1.4-inch display is covered with sapphire crystal, which is meant to make the watch less prone to scratches and cracks, and in the time that we've had it, it's done a pretty good job so far. The digital crown has had a bit of an upgrade as well this year, so now it's a little bit larger than it was on the previous model. It just makes using that watch overall just a little bit easier, and we found especially during workouts, this is much nicer, and it just makes the navigation of the watch a little bit sleeker and easier to use. Because it's also larger as well, it can take a few more knocks, and overall it's just a little bit more durable. What hasn't changed though on the TicWatch Pro 5 Enduro? Well, there's a couple of things. One of them is the sensor. These are the exact same as the last watch. The charging pins are exactly the same as well, which is not a bad thing because it means you can still use your old charger, and the way the watch band attaches is the exact same, so you can still use your old watch bands. The one shame here is though that we don't have wireless charging. We really wanted to see it, but this time round it misses out. Talking of battery life though, this has some pretty impressive battery life. TicWatch claim it can do up to 90 hours in smart mode and up to 45 days in essential mode, but this all depends on how much you use it and what activities you track. We found it can do around about 4 days between charges, which we're pretty happy with. While we're talking about the battery life though, let me tell you about today's video sponsor, and this is the CUKTECH 20 power bank. This power bank delivers 140 watts of power, and if you have a MacBook Pro, it can fully charge it 1.2 times. It has a really intuitive TFT display that can keep you updated with real-time information like your battery level, the power, and the voltage that it's giving out. It's a pretty sleek designed power bank, and it is aeroplane safe, so you can take it anywhere you might go on your travels. If you like the sound of that CUKTECH 20 power bank, then just check the description below. Let's talk about software, and the health tracking of the TicWatch actually is pretty good overall. Using the new Tic Health app, it makes it a bit easier to access all the stats you might need, and it's added even more sports this time around, which is great. It's not as good as a Garmin for advanced tracking, but it does a really good job. The GPS performance is solid and nearly matches that of the Apple Watch Ultra 2, and now a handful of third-party tracking apps are supported on that low power screen, which means you can save even more battery, and we just love how that secondary display is used to highlight heart zones during your workouts. Having said all that though, here comes the complicated part, because the TicWatch 5 Enduro comes with quite an old version of Wear OS. Wear OS 3.5 is what the Enduro comes with, and now with Watch OS 5 having just been announced for the Galaxy Watch Ultra, it makes this a bit of a tougher buy. There's no Google Assistant on the watch or any of those newer Wear OS features that you'd expect. And with the history of TicWatch having major delays on updating its Wear OS software, overall that's just a little bit disappointing. It's priced at $349.99, which lands right alongside the new Galaxy Watch 7, which I think is a pretty fair price for a new wearable. If you need a new Wear OS watch, or battery life is your big goal when getting a smartwatch, then this is something that you might want to look at, as long as you don't mind missing out on some of those newer Wear OS features. Overall though, the battery is excellent and the durability is great, but the outdated software does really hold this back. Let me know though in the comments, what do you think of the TicWatch Pro 5 Enduro? Is it something you would get, or are you as disappointed with its Wear OS version as we are? Before you head off, make sure you subscribe to the Android Authority YouTube channel, and if you do that, then I'll just see you a little later on.